Is that gonna get crumbs on my tablet? No?
Jacob's on the very high functioning end of the autism spectrum. There used to be different names for various parts of the spectrum, but right now they have...
There's no such thing as Asperger's, FYI.
You need to let me talk. Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, Jacob used to have a classification of Asperger's, and now it's autism spectrum disorder level 1 support. So there's 3 support levels at this point, and what it means is autism spectrum disorders, kids have difficulty with communication, they have difficulty with social interaction, and they have difficulty in various other ways of learning. It's a really fluid thing. You may have a kid who is nonverbal and isn't able to communicate because they can't speak, but has other ways of communicating. You may have a kid who speaks sort of in an echo-ish way. They use words that they've heard or phrases that they've seen or things like that to sort of communicate. And then you have kids like Jacob who has an extraordinary vocabulary but misses some of those little pieces.
In elementary school, in 3rd grade, it was a bit before class would end for the day, and since we were done with our work, we went outside and went to play kickball, and I still don't know why this happened, but I asked to roll the ball, and my friend said sure, and he tossed it to me, and then for some obscure reason, the teacher told me to give it back, and I asked why, and they're like, I don't even remember what the response was, it didn't make sense to me, and they kept on sit on the wall, and I'm like, why? I didn't do anything. They kept on doing that, and they're like, go to the principal's office, and I'm like, I didn't do anything, and I burst out crying. The bell rang, so I ran up the hill and got in the car. I went home. Could really acknowledge it wasn't entirely just behavioral issues, and it wasn't that I was being a nuisance, like, entirely, and it wasn't that I was trying to be.
Getting services in place for Jacob was complicated for us, but I knew the system because it had been because it was my background. I knew the system, and I could go in and I could sort of talk at their level. And sitting at the table, I would walk out after every meeting knowing how frustrated I felt and think, what happens to parents who don't know the system? What happens to parents who are too intimidated to speak up? What happens to their kids in terms of getting services? And so I had the opportunity to write this book, and it was great to be able to start from the very beginning. I work with parents, and I sit down with them, and I can walk them through the process, but I can't be with every parent all over. And having written the book that takes them through the process from the very beginning of when you worry about something being not quite right in your child's school to all the way through the laws and what to do and how to observe and the questions to ask, I kind of feel like now I have the opportunity to sort of be in those meetings with parents, even if I can't be there.